to considering the times of the kingdom, there are two very important words that we must be aware of. Number one is the word when. And then number two is the word then. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 2-Minute Torah, day number 5 of the Torah portion, Shelach Lecha. Let's go to Numbers 15 and start with verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you have come into the land of your dwellings, which I am giving you. And then instructions are offered about particular offerings and so forth. In verse 4, he says, Then he who brings near his offering to Yahweh shall bring near a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour and 1/4 of a hin of oil. There is this play then between two words. When you come in, then this is what you will do. There was instructions then being given to a congregation that included people who were not going into the land. Their children were. In chapter 14, this previous generation was told in no uncertain terms, you're not going in, you're going to die out here in the wilderness. The sons and daughters that you thought would be prey to other people, they'll go in and take the land. And yet Moshe is giving instructions to this congregation that includes people who are not going in. There are things that are being said to us, whether from reading the text, or hearing from the Spirit, or hearing in a word that is preached or is taught to us, and we may not be the benefactors of it. Let me give you an example. There are previous generations who heard the word of Elohim. Maybe they heard preaching about an upcoming revival, an era of time where there would be an outpouring of the Spirit. Certainly they heard about the return of Messiah, and they may have been encapsulated within the ranks of the doctrine of the pre-tribulation rapture, but nonetheless, they heard about the return of Messiah. They believed it, they took it for themselves, they prayed for it to happen, yet they never lived to see in their physical reality. My grandparents used to talk about when the quote unquote when the Lord is coming back. Quite often. I remember as a child sitting on the front porch of my grandmother's home, and Grandma Phillips had this little record player, and she had a 33 LP. For those who don't know, with that, a vinyl record. And it was Reverend Mays Jackson of the Truck Driver Special. Used to be a preacher on the radio. The Lord's Return in 1973. And she listened to all of the current sins of the day in 1973 and how bad it was. This man was proclaiming that it's so bad in 1973 that the Lord just has to come back this year or else we'll destroy ourselves. Grandma, I can still see her face, and she was very focused on, he's coming this year. He's going to come this year. Such have been many generations anticipating, hoping, but not living long enough in this physical realm to see it come to pass in their day. And yet they believed. And they prayed for it. And we are benefactors of those prayers. This generation, Yah says, you're going to die in the wilderness. They had a choice. They could either walk in continual unbelief and cause nothing but problems, or they could prepare their upcoming generation to be able to heed the words of Moshe and get ready to go into the land. Considering the land of Israel is unique. It's unlike any other place on the face of the earth. Walking on its terrain, walking among its people, visiting the cities and the towns, there is just this unmistakable abiding presence of the Most High that is intensified there. Don't ask me to explain that. Don't ask me for a scientific reason why. I can't answer those questions. But I can tell you from multiple trips to the land, it's there. It's this tangible presence of the Most High. Living in the land requires then that we be elevated in our spirit. What does that mean? You don't live just an ordinary, everyday, common life in Israel, and that's it. The land requires more of us than that. We can't live in a wicked lifestyle there. The land will vomit you out. The word says so. We do indeed, you do indeed, those who live there do indeed go through their normal day of working their jobs and shopping and providing for their families, doing what is required of them. But again, they are surrounded by this unmistakable reality of where they are and who they are and why they are still there in that land. So what does that say to us who live in exile? Exile means that we are destined for the kingdom and we belong to Messiah, but we're living somewhere else in the earth outside the land of Israel. We are not yet in our ultimate destiny. We have a choice. We can live our lives commonly, go about our daily routines, just live life as it comes to us, and just try to stay out of trouble, spiritually speaking. Or we can elevate our lives. We can seek to draw as close as possible to Him through the Word, through prayer, through walking in the Spirit, by applying the principles of the Word, by obeying His commands, by seeking the heart and the face of Yeshua, becoming one with Him. We can seek to do those things. We can seek to elevate our spiritual self to a higher place in preparation for the kingdom. The kingdom is not just an advent that is coming. It is coming. Yeshua will return and bring His kingdom to this earth, and the world will forever be changed, never be the same again. But we're not waiting for that eventual moment to happen before we say, okay, I'm ready to elevate my living now. The principles of the kingdom are found in the words of the Torah. And so we apply ourselves now to living out these principles in preparation and training for that moment when Yeshua returns. Somehow we may have this thing in our mind that He's just going to snap His fingers and zap us, and everything that is wrong with us is suddenly going to be fixed, and that we're going to be so instantly changed by this mortality taking on immortality, this corruption taking on incorruption, that we'll just be zapped into a better person. Well, what does that say between now and then? When the kingdom comes, then we will be indeed elevated. But what about here and now? Here and now says that there are those who need to benefit from kingdom reality as exhibited and demonstrated through our lives, through our daily living, so that they themselves will become hungry and desirous to share in this journey with us. When the kingdom comes, then we're going to be changed. Here and now is even more important than when and then. Let me just take a moment here, and I normally just kind of cram this in at the end. I want to take a moment and just express my gratitude and appreciation for those who on a consistent basis watch 10-Minute Torah. I also invite you to tune in weekly to Foundations for Life, a program that my friend Mike Clayton and I put together. It's available on this same channel. If you would care, you could watch the House of David Shabbat service. I invite you to do that. I appreciate those who hit the like button, who have recently subscribed, for those who share in your social media. All of that is so much appreciated. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. May the presence of the King be seated with you at your table this Shabbat. May He be with you in your dwelling. And we'll see you again next week. Until then, shalom.